fucking god. Look what I have here. Let me just open this for you. Morbius. The greatest movie of all time. Holy shit. I love this movie to death. But in all seriousness though, we're talking about Sonic Frontiers today.
Hurdy-durdy-dur, Sonic had a rough transition to 3D. I'm making fun of people who say that. Look at me, I'm so original. Ha 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 ha. Ain't I funny because I'm the millionth person who's made that joke? Seriously though, it's true. Sonic did have a rough transition to 3D. Sonic Extreme was cancelled and Sonic 3D Blast was shit. So, yeah. Just because Sonic Adventure was the first 3D Sonic game, the first true 3D Sonic game, and it was good, doesn't mean that Sonic didn't have a rough transition to 3D. It took until the 6th generation until Sonic had his first real 3D game, and 3D didn't become a main staple in the gaming industry until the 5th generation. He was a generation behind, guys. Like, come on. But anyways, back on track. So, Sonic the Hedgehog is a gaming franchise that had its golden age back in 1991 all the way to 2003. Even in his awkward years from 1995 to 1998, I can still say that he had some charm left. However, when 2004 came, he was starting to become a little bit dried up. Then 2006 came along and everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Yeah, Sonic 06 kind of destroyed the entire franchise. There really wasn't an actual good game ever since, unless if you count Sonic Unleashed, but everyone likes to disagree whether or not that game was good. Personally, I think the game was great, but the Wii version was trash. Anyways, so yeah. In this video, though, I want to point out that after Sonic Unleashed, the critics weren't too kind to that game and Sega thought, let's be a little bit more comedic. And because of that, the franchise sort of took a nosedive and, you know, Sega wanted to change that. So they went a more serious route in Sonic Forces, but they had the wrong writers. You see, ever since 2010, they had the people who wrote for Happy Tree Friends to do Sonic. And, you know, what ended up happening was that, you know, back then, you know, they had another guy writing for the comics by the name of Ken Penders, who sort of destroyed the comics. Like I said, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. And everything got even worse when Ian Flynn came in. Ian Flynn was a Sonic fanfiction writer who pestered Archie to hire him. And what ended up happening was that they did hire him, shockingly enough, and you know, they ended up firing Ken Penders, and Ian Flynn ended up being the sole reason why the Archie series ended up being canceled, because he made stories that were so boring that sales went down, and yeah. He then later on made his own Sonic series with Sega's consent with the publishing rights of IDW, and that one was even worse than his run on Archie. And now Sega's letting him make games. Oh god. Yes, the first game that Ian Flynn's working on, alongside with Takashi Iizuka, is known as Sonic Frontiers, and I'm going to be reviewing it today. So strap on in, folks, because today we're going to be talking about Sonic Frontiers. Let's dive right in.
Now, before we start the review, I just want to say something real quick. So, Sonic Frontiers came out a day before another game known as God of War Ragnarok, and I've played both of these games. So I just want to quickly say my thoughts of God of War Ragnarok. What do I think of God of War Ragnarok? I think it's great. It's a perfect contender for Game of the Year. And honestly, I think that it should win Game of the Year. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to say about God of War Ragnarok. I would much rather be reviewing that game over Sonic Frontiers, but hey, what can you do, I guess? Oh well, it doesn't even matter. What matters at the end of the day is that I'm reviewing this game for personal reasons. So, yeah, now let's dive right in, for real this time.
Alright, I want to talk about my first issue, about how it's in windowed mode, right? Now, I know that it being in windowed mode isn't an inherent issue in concept, right? It's about how it was handled in execution, right? It's like almost hidden in the taskbar, right? Like, you know how like on Windows, right, you got like a little thing underneath, right, showing like all the stuff you have, like your files, your applications, your browser, you know, all that stuff, like the time, you know, all that stuff, right? Well, that stuff hides, you know, the part where like on screen, right, you see right there with select and close, right? If you didn't know how to do that, you didn't know it was A or B to do that, you'd be all like, okay, what the fuck am I supposed to do? How do I get out of the options menu like how I am doing now, right? Trying to, you know, change how to do the window size, because here's the thing, you can't change the window size unless if you go to options, I think, but I haven't tried that. Maybe you can, I don't know. And even then, I would much rather keep it in windowed mode than go into full screen so I could see the time, so I could keep track of whether or not I need to like do stuff and stuff like that, because I'm a very busy person, right? But anyways, aside from that, right, like, console players want to excuse, you know, faults like this that are exclusive to PC, saying that just because we don't have issues like this in our version of the game, that means the game's immediately good and better than every other game to ever exist. Except no, because there are issues in this game that apply to every single version of the game to ever exist. So, yeah. Like, okay, Sonic fans, let me just say this. If you want a good product, please stop being consumers. Like, listen, okay? Don't make excuses for shitty products. Like, do some actual critical thinking and properly criticize products, and be sure to, you know, to do what you need to do for, you know, the sake of the industry, and that's it. You know, vote with your wallet, vote with your voice, and yeah, that's what you do. Like, you did that with Forces, and I don't know why you're not doing it here. But, oh well, that's aside from the point. Anyway, so we start off at Slenderman the 8 pages. Haha, funny joke, I know. And, yeah. And the game, it starts off with the same goddamn story plot line that we get at the beginning of every single fucking game. Robotnik, I mean, Eggman. Seriously, what the fuck is up with that name? It is so fucking stupid sounding. I know he had that name in the adventure era, and I like the adventure games. Not only that, but he had that name in Unleashed, and I like Unleashed. But those games are good because they're good games, right? I can ignore stuff like that. But, like, you know, I just want to, you know, make myself clear that I prefer Robotnik over Eggman as a name, but whatever. Anyways, aside from that, right, This is the same fucking story beat that we get at the beginning of every game. You know, oh, Eggman fucks things up at the beginning, and, you know, shit like that. And you wanna know what the worst part about this is? You wanna know what the worst part is? Eggman barely even appears in this game. I know this is like a spoiler at the beginning of the review, but like, I don't fucking give a shit, okay? Like, I don't recommend this game. You shouldn't play it, alright? It's, like, it's subpar, and it's a waste of money, alright? Like, why have it to be where the story begins with Eggman fucking things up, where he barely even appears in the story? Why not have it be where, like, you know, we have the new villain who appears much more in the story, because Eggman, he doesn't get much screen time in this game. Doesn't even matter, whatever. Anyway, so we follow Sonic and his friends on the airplane, right? And you know what's gonna happen, right? Same thing as in Lost World. Oh, they get an alert, the plane, it crashes, and oh, you know, Sonic, he falls on his face, just like in the beginning of every game, and oh, I have a bad headache. He gets up and he's all like, oh, my head hurts, what happened? Like, you know how these games begin every single time. So yeah, and the first level is Green Hill. Wow, what a shock. Let me just say this, right? I know people want to make the defense for Green Hill, saying that, oh, well, in the adventure era, or, I'm sorry, the Dark Age, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, Seaside Hill was just as overused, right? Well, honestly, let me just say this. If you overuse a level, no matter what it is, I'm still going to be pissed off regardless. Because let me just make myself perfectly clear, alright? Overusing levels, or overusing anything is not good. Too much of anything is not a good thing. Whether it be too much of a good thing, too much of a bad thing, people eventually get sick of it. Like, seriously. Not only that, but another thing too, is that, you know, at the beginning of the level, like, they don't even have a way where you could get properly adjusted to the controls. Like, just watch this reenactment that I did of how the first time I played this level went. Okay, so how do I do the drop dash? Do I do it like this? Do I do it like that? Like, come on, man. Like, come on. I'm getting it. Trying to get front. No, come on. Ass! And the worst part about this is that you want to know how I learned how to do the drop dash? Not through actually playing the game. Not through, like, a tutorial. I didn't learn it on my own or anything like that. No. I learned how to do it through a fucking YouTube comment. Like, what the fuck? Okay, if you're not learning how to do abilities in the game from the game, like, that's not a good sign. And even then, it's almost like if they're actively trying to hide the ability from the player. Think about it. It's like the one ability throughout this entire game that I haven't even seen a single tutorial for. And here's the thing. I'm 12 hours into this game. Like, that's not good at all. So, yeah. And another thing, too, that I need to bring up, right, is that I think the reason why they're doing this is because it's a momentum-based ability. I mean, think about it. They added an extra jump to the ability just to make it so that you wouldn't be able to figure it out just as easy. Like, okay, the drop dash in Sonic Mania and in Sonic Forces, right, here's how it worked, right? And in every other game that it appeared in, too, like in the re-releases of the Genesis games, right? Okay, basically the drop dash, right? It was you press A, then you hold down A while you're still in the air, right? And now it's you press A twice, then you hold down A while you're still in the air. So that's 3 A presses now instead of just the 2 that it used to be. Like, what the hell? Well, anyway, so now I want to talk about the grass textures in this cutscene. This may not seem like a big deal at first because, most people at first won't even notice it. Well, no, actually, it's not even that most people won't notice it. Everyone notices it. It's just that everyone tries to ignore it. I didn't ignore it. I see it. It's right in front of us. This is literally just a flat texture. Like, you guys see it too, right? Like, when I first made my initial review, right, I said that, the grass texture looks ass, and that's just about it, right? And people in the comment section told me, oh, you have to elaborate. And I'm like, fucking really? Look at it! It's a flat texture! Most games put more effort into, like, the grass actually, looking like grass. Like making it look a little bit more three-dimensional, actually having it pop out of the ground. This grass, like, it looks like it's just painted on floorboards. This looks artificial as fuck. And before you guys start saying, oh, that's intentional, Takashi Iizuka said so, like, really? This is how you excuse laziness? Be prepared to see this in the comment section a lot. Like, guys, no, it's a glitch world. The game is supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be shittily made. I swear on God, it's supposed to be garbage. I promise. Because that's the excuse that I'm hearing from the fan base the most, is that it's supposed to be crap. Like, okay, I said this in the original review a little bit later in, but I'm going to say it here earlier. Just because you make something bullshit on purpose doesn't excuse the fact that you made something bullshit. Like, for example, the UI. It looks like a mobile game. It looks like fucking Genshin Impact. Like, seriously. Like, let's compare the two, for example. Like, look, you see what I mean? It's almost like if making white cutouts for your UI is a lot easier than putting actual detail in your UI. You know what I mean? Like, is this the level of laziness that we're on now? To where we're putting white cutouts in our UI? Like, seriously, I could just remake these with paper cutouts. I'm dead serious. Even Forces had better UI than this. Like, what the hell? Like, why can't we get the UI that we got in Generations and Unleashed? Hell, I wasn't even that big of a fan of Forces and Generations. Like, and I'm defending both of those games. So, like, if your UI is so bad to the point where you're getting me to defend those games, like, I'm sorry. You fucking, like, holy shit. And let's talk about the puzzles. Oh, God, the puzzles. Okay. Listen. If you are so blind to this game to where you can't actually comprehend how fucking piss easy a lot of these puzzles are, or needlessly unfair these puzzles are, or sometimes even flat out boring these puzzles are, then you know what? You haven't played any actual good games with real puzzles in them. So allow me to give you some examples of actual good puzzles so you can actually see what I mean when I say that the puzzles in Frontiers are trash. Let's take, for example, some of the levels in God of War 2018. Now, these puzzles, they're good because, for one, they're fun, and another reason is because, well, they, actually focus on, pondering at the player's brain. Frontiers doesn't do that. How come they don't do that in Frontiers? Because, the puzzles in that game are too easy. While meanwhile, in God of War 2018, the puzzles are perfect. They're the perfect amount of difficult in order to get the point across that, hey, this is a game. We want you to have fun. While in Frontiers, they're all like, hey, whatever, get it over with, man. I don't care. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, you guys see how that's a bit of an issue? Yeah. Also, another thing I want to talk about would be the tutorials. Now, on one hand, you could say that, oh, these are just fine, right? But on another hand, I want to bring up this. Okay. These, are a problem in one regard and one regard only. They weren't at the beginning of the first level. And that's an issue because, if you saw the beginning of the video, which, you probably did if you're watching this. I don't know why you wouldn't have seen the beginning of the video, but, whatever. Yeah, like, it wouldn't be beneficial for the player if, like, you understand what I'm trying to say if you saw the beginning of the video. It wouldn't be beneficial for the player if there isn't, like, at least an optional tutorial at the beginning of the game. You know what I mean? Because, situations like that could happen at the beginning of the game. Or better yet, why even have a first level like that at the beginning of the game when you could have something like this, which is much more beneficial at teaching the player at how to play the game. I mean, yeah, like if you want to, lead the player in with something a bit more familiar, I get that. But like, why not just design the game to be more familiar to, people who like Sonic? Like, why does the game have to look like this? You know what I mean? I'm not saying Sonic has to run around in Green Hill Zone or anything like that. No. Like, maybe instead of it being like a fucking weird-looking, dreary fucking wasteland, you could, like, have him run around in, like, a beach or a jungle or something like that, like in Sonic Adventure. You know what I mean? Like, that was, like, the perfect balance between realistic and traditional, cartoonish Sonic traditions, And it doesn't even have to be, like, realistically flat like how this is. It could be, like, a momentum-based, level design. Hell, even with the boost, you could still design an open world, level, not even level, like a open world area like that. Like, okay, I know the Sega developers haven't heard of this game, but I know you viewers definitely have. Everyone watching this, I all know that you've heard of this game. Sonic Utopia. Now, in case if you don't know, Sonic Utopia is a fan-made Sonic tech demo that shows off what an open-world Sonic game could be done right. And while, yes, at the beginning it may not look like much, the more you go through it, the better it gets. And honestly, like, yeah, like, Sega should definitely check this out, so that way they could, like, take notes at the very least in what to do for the next game. Because, honestly, this bullshit with, like, the fucking boost is starting to get very tiresome. All the fans nowadays talking about how momentum is dead and we don't need it anymore. Like, I know for a fact, clearly, that that's bullshit. And this game is the reason why. Like, the drop dash is in Sonic Frontiers, and that's inherently a momentum-based ability. Like, if we're gonna do open world for the next decade or so, right? Or the next 20 years, then honestly, like, we need to bring momentum back. Like, stop fearing about 06 and how that destroyed everything. Be more competent with how, like, you handled momentum, right? Stop with this bullshit with the boost. And, like, you know, like, do this. It's as simple as that. Do something like this. Look at this. Like, I know I heard a criticism about Sonic Utopia saying that, oh, the game was boring because it didn't have a goal. But, like, I mean, yeah, you can fix that very easily. Just give the game, like, an inherent goal for what you could do. Give it a story, and yeah. Because at the end of the day, this is just a tech demo made by a fan. So, like, you know, I'd cut it some slack if I were the Sonic fan base. That's my problem with the fan base right now, is that they're being too harsh on fan-made projects. But, who am I to judge? Well, actually, no, I don't want to say that, because honestly, you know, I think I should be a little bit, you know, hard on the fans for being hard on the developers who make these passion projects. Because honestly, let me just say this to you guys who go out of your way to attack fan developers, right? You guys are fucking scum for that, and you should stop, alright? So, yeah, I'm sorry. I just needed to say that because these people who are like fan developers who, you know, make games on their own, they're not like big corporations like Sega. No, these are just people who make games on their own as just one person who do what they do out of love for a franchise, right? And to see them just get attacked with, haha, Sega, hire this man. No, they don't put any effort into this. Like, they definitely put more effort into these because of the fact that it's one person. Alright? Like, I'm more hard on Sega themselves than I am with the fans because of the fact that Sega's an entire corporation, while the fans who develop these fan games are like one person. So I would just recommend just chill out with the fan developers, please. I'm sorry if that went off topic and it derailed the video. It's just that, like, God, ever since the fucking controversy with Omens, like, it's not even just Omens that people attack. Like, now everyone's going after every fan game that comes out. Like, ha, Sega, hire this man. Like, shut up with that stupid joke. Like, it's serious. Like, it's seriously damaging to these people. I know it is a joke, but like, we all know how Sonic fans are. They're fucking soft as shit. So, like, you know. Honestly, if I was told that joke, Sega, hire this man, if I made a fan game, I would respond in a completely different way. I wouldn't cry or whine or anything like that. You wanna know what I would do? I would fucking clap back in some sort of snarky, sarcastic way. And to my advice for the fan developers, you shouldn't take things personally when people say, Sega, hire this man, you know. honestly, I think what you guys should do is like make your own meme. You know, try and make fun of like the fans who are like so butthurt whenever you guys make your own game. Cause like the thing is that you guys are like so much better than these people. Cause let me just make something clear. These people who go out of their way to complain about every time you guys make a fan game, guess what? They have no idea how to develop things of their own. I'm dead serious. Every time these people complain about you guys with your fan games, they never make a fan game of their own. Never. I've never seen it. So, yeah. Look, the only people who've ruined fan games for anyone isn't like Sega or copyright or anything like that. It's the fans themselves. So, yeah. Anyways, back to the review. Okay, you know what? Let's talk about the fucking combat. Okay, so all it is just spamming the X button over and over and over again. And you know what? I just need to say this. Like, I'm fucking sick and tired of this shit, right? Like, people want to sit here and tell me how complex and awesome and amazing the fucking combat is, but no. All it is just a bunch of flashy animations once you unlock everything. There's literally no skill required. All it is just spamming the X button. Like, once you unlock everything on the skill tree, what do you have? No, seriously, what is it? Oh, you just get more strong and you get more flashy animations. That's it. That's literally it. Like, at first, it's just, oh, you just punch and kick a little bit. Then, ooh, look at all these flashy animations that you have. Like, okay, let's take a actual competent game into account, for example. Alright, so for DMC3, which is an actual competent game, you have 3 combat-related buttons. You have the button for your guns, the buttons for your regular attacks, and the buttons for your special attacks. Not only that, but you have so many different ways of doing, you know, abilities with like combos and stuff like that for button combinations and all different sorts of crazy things, right? Not only that, but you have incentives for doing button combinations with a style meter. And not only that, but since the enemies are fucking brutal, and, you know, well, not in this footage, because this is literally the first fucking level, right? You know, you have incentive to dodge by, you know, pressing aim and jump, right? Now, obviously, that's not really the best way of handling the, you know, dodge mechanic, but in future games like DMC4 and DMC5, they obviously do a much better job with that, but, you know, this game is still really good regardless. You know, I have a lot of fun with it. But, anyways, aside from that, right, when it comes to the combat, it's still really fucking good. And I just need to recommend this game for anyone who wants to, you know, play it when it comes to the combat. And hell, when it comes to games involving combat, it's not even just this that I want to give it as an example for combat. No. Like, even in other Sonic games, combat was handled better. Say what you want about the Werehog, but you know what? I think the combat in Sonic Unleashed with the Werehog is a shit ton better than the combat in Sonic Frontiers. Yeah, I said it. And you want to know why I think that? Because the combat in this game was handled way better and because it was handled more dynamically. The reason why the Werehog wasn't really that good in this game wasn't because of the combat. It was because of the level design for the levels that he was in. Like, really think about it like this, right? Like, they focused way more on platforming than they did on combat. And the combat was the best part. while, the way the character controlled in terms of, like, platforming was very sluggish. So, make of that as what you will. So, yeah. And don't think I forgot about God of War, because in that game, oh my god, the combat was handled masterfully. Like, really look at this. Like, not only this was, like, way better in comparison to, like, the past God of War games, I mean, subjectively speaking, at least, but, another thing I want to bring up is that, it also really was fluid and fun to use. Like, as you can see in the footage. So, yeah. With Frontiers, it just felt very choppy, and very spammy and not very satisfying. This game, in God of War, it was satisfying. That's the thing with combat in video games. It's supposed to feel satisfying to pull off. And it's not just all about flashy animations. It's supposed to, feel like you're a part of the combat. That's what video games are. It's an interactive medium. You understand what I'm trying to say here, right? Anyways, back to Sonic Frontiers. Oh my god. This puzzle right here is foreshadowing. Now, you'll see what I mean later, but let me just say, like, here's the thing. The reason why the puzzles in God of War work as a tutorial puzzle is, well, yes, they were a little easy. At the same time, like, they were still challenging enough to be, challenging to the mind while not being too difficult to make you be all like, this is at the first level? You know what I'm trying to say, right? Like, there needs to be a balance of difficulty and easiness. You know what I mean? Also, look at the fucking skill tree. Like, do you not know how quickly I managed to get through all of these? Okay, there are 5 open zones in this whole game, right? And yes, I understand why it's open zone. It's because, there are different open worlds. By the way, Mario Odyssey did it first. Fuck you, Sega. Anyways, I'm sorry. Let me just say this, right? I managed to get these all, or almost, by the 3rd open zone. Right? Also, can I just say how fucking retarded that name sounds? I fucking hate saying it every time. I almost want to throw up every time I say open zone. So I'm just going to call it an open world, because a world is just another name for a level anyway. Like, shit. Fuck. And the reason why I say Mario Odyssey did it first is because, technically speaking, Mario Odyssey was an open world Mario game. And, it had multiple different open world segments. So, yeah, Sonic Frontiers isn't the first game to do multiple open world segments. Mario Odyssey was. So, stop with your fucking false marketing bullshit. This is like Black Panther all over again, saying that it was the first ever black superhero movie when Blade was. Like, how can we all forget about Wesley Snipes' Blade? Come on, everybody. That was a good movie. So anyways, now we've unlocked the Cycloop, and let me just say this for the record, right? This is the whole reason why the game's open world. Like, literally, if Sega still utilized momentum, this game wouldn't be open world. Like, let me just explain why. The boost is so limiting to the point where, like, if this was just another linear Sonic game, they wouldn't be able to properly use the Cycloop. I'm dead serious. And the fact that this is open world, you know, not only they could be able to use the Cycloop properly without the game being fucking worse than it already is, right? But they also can kill two birds with one stone, and they could pray to God that, oh, maybe we could get nominated for Game of the Year. Too bad that they didn't. Fuck you, Sonic fans. You didn't get nominated for Game of the Year, assholes. You get what you fucking deserve, bitch. So then we make it to another piss-ass puzzle. And yeah, this is another one where it's like really fucking easy for no goddamn reason. Seriously, this is like the fucking third one in a row. Like, at some point, you're gonna have to give us an actual challenge. You know what I mean? The whole entire "it's just the first level" excuse is going to have to go away eventually. You know what I mean? Okay, so then I start climbing up these mountains, and then I notice that you can't, because there's an invisible wall in this open world game. Isn't the whole point of an open world game that you're supposed to be able to explore wherever you want? Why is there an invisible wall in this mountain? Because here's the thing. I looked at the map earlier, and I know that there's more level above where this mountain is. This is a bullshit. In a competent game like Breath of the Wild, I should be able to get up there and past where the level should be. Well, okay. When I word it like that, you know, it doesn't sound right, but like, you know what I'm trying to say. I should be able to go past this mountain and explore more level. There, that's what I meant to say. But yeah, this is ridiculous. Like, what the hell, guys? Like, oh my god. I remember hearing this complaint in Donkey's review of the game, and like, yeah, like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, there's no reason as to why this is in the game. No reason. But, yeah. Also, this is where I started to notice that this music, this piano music, is starting to make me fall asleep. In my initial review of the game, I said that, oh, you know, the music, all piano music is bad. I take that back. Alright? Listen. Piano music in games like Breath of the Wild is good. Why? Because in Breath of the Wild, I'm actually having a good time. You could put the most boring and generic music in the most fun game imaginable just as long as I'm having the time of my life. This game fucking sucks. And I'm bored. Like, I'm trying to get over this mountain and I'm frustrated beyond belief. It won't. And why is there an invisible wall? There shouldn't be an invisible wall in an open world game. There shouldn't. But because, you know, the developers are all like, you know, while Sonic may be the fastest thing alive, at the same time, we don't want him to be able to climb over mountains too easily. You know what I mean? Like, come on. I want to explore the level. I want to be able to, you know, see what's past this mountain. Stop restraining me and let me be free, developers. But, you know, I guess they want me to go the path that they want me to go. Like, this is just really dumb. But anyway, so yeah. Like, as I was saying with the piano music, right? It is just generic. It is not good, right? And people are saying that this game should win Soundtrack of the Year. Are you kidding me? Like, no. And I get it. Yes, the boss fight music is good. But, like, that's a very small percentage of the soundtrack. A very good majority is just the piano music. Some people want to claim that I'm a hypocrite just because I like the God of War soundtrack. But, like, here's the thing. The God of War soundtrack is much more large in scope. It's grand, it's big, it's orchestral, it's epic, for lack of a better terms. Sonic Frontiers soundtrack with the piano music, it's too soft, it's too small, it's too quiet. Like, seriously. And when it's not that, when we're talking about the cyberspace levels, it sounds like the really shitty techno music from Forces. If I played the music from Forces next to the cyberspace levels, oh my god. There is no excuse for this. You know, I was too busy talking about some of my small gripes with the game to the point where I forgot that this was coming up. This is nothing. I mean, no, this is something. This is huge. You know, no. I fucking told someone about this, and they excused it. They made their excuses. They fucking said that this is apparently excusable because I have a quote-unquote underpowered PC. They haven't even played this game yet. They don't even know. They don't even know the half of it. You could play it on PS5. You could play it on Xbox Series X. You could play it on whatever the fuck you want. This is going to happen on everything. Listen, stop making excuses for faulty products. I am sick of hearing the mantra of, just consume product and get excited for next product. I am sick of that. I want to be able to, properly critique this product that's out now so I could be able to have a good next product. Because I have a feeling that the next product, which is probably going to be Adventure 3 because of all the praise that you guys are giving this game, it's not going to be very good. Do you want Adventure 3 to be a boost game? Hell, you guys are saying that you hate the adventure games, and yet here Sega is coming in going on like, oh, we're going to make Adventure 3. Like, come on. This is not good. This is not good. And then I told everyone that I want this game to be better. I want this game to improve. And then they say, oh, you're asking for too much. You're asking for too much to have a Sonic game better than every other title out there. Really? Okay. Let me just say this. With God of War 2018, when that game came out and it was better than every other God of War game to ever exist, right? How come that wasn't asking for too much? Everyone was so happy and they were all like, oh my god, this game, it's so revolutionary, it's so good, right? But when I say I want the same thing for Sonic, it's apparently asking for too much. It can happen. It's possible. We saw it with God of War. Why can't it happen with Sonic? It can happen with any franchise under the sun, but it can't happen with Sonic. It's almost like you guys don't want this franchise to improve. It's almost like if the fans are actively trying to sabotage this franchise alongside with Sega. This is like almost a suicide pact. You guys are your own worst enemy. You know that, right? Just saying. Fuck. Anyways, so, yeah. Every fucking time I make it to this part of the game, I always end up aggravating myself so fucking much. And it's because, like, this game is just inherently broken in every sense of the word. Every sense. I'm not as angry as I was when I initially recorded this, but like, you know what I mean, right? Well, aside from that, now we gotta fight this stupid-looking boss. To quote Chad Warden, it looked like a dildo. Like, seriously, what the fuck? Who? You know what? No, I'm gonna talk about it. I neglected to talk about it when I had the chance, but you know what? Now I feel like would be the best time. What is it with these fucking character designs other than the ones that were originally put into the game because they already existed? Like, seriously, these are fucking, like, I'm sorry. To quote my Jew language, because I am Jewish, I was born into a Jewish family, this is absolute shit Shangola, alright? This is like, what the fuck? Look at this. Like, is this supposed to be like a bird or like a head or like an ostrich thing? Like, what was Sega thinking when designing this character, and how does it fit in with anything that Sonic has to do with, like, I can't even comprehend anything that the designers had in mind for it. You know what? Let me just quote what I said in my last review of this game. Alright? Okay. You could replace Sonic with any character like Mario or Master Chief or Solid Snake, and the environment would not change, right? And it would make no difference. The only thing that would relatively stay the same, like, and you know what? No, I'm just gonna say it. Nothing would change other than the gameplay. That'd be it. You could keep the level design and everything the same. The level design, the character design, everything. The only thing that would change would be the characters and the gameplay, and that's it. Just like the main characters and the gameplay. Like, you wouldn't have Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy and Eggman. Like, that would be the only difference. And that and the gameplay. Like, oh my god. Like, this environment and the cyberspace stages would change too, but like seriously, the open world environment and all the enemies and other things that we're about to see next. Like, this isn't Sonic. It's not Sonic. Like, Christ almighty. Ooh, also, you know how at the beginning I said that the fact that it's in windowed mode is an issue? Well, guess what? You know how I'm stuck on this tutorial segment? You wanna know why? Well, you see that little button that says exit training? Because it's in windowed mode and my taskbar is covering up the bottom half, I can't see that little thing that tells me how to exit the training. So, yeah, that kind of fucks with me a little bit, doesn't it? Well, I eventually figured it out and I managed to make it into the level, so, yeah. Okay, so you may be seeing this level and thinking, wait a minute, this looks familiar. Not just because of the fact that it's, well, Sky Sanctuary, but because of the fact that it's designed as if it's another level, you know? Like, literally, the design is the exact same as a level from a previous Sonic game. Well, that's because, well, just look at this interview that Takashi Iizuka gave. Just take a look.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that? What is that?
Yep, that's right. All of these levels are reused from past games. And I don't mean the fact that they're aesthetically reused. I mean the fact that they're reused in terms of design. Wow. That is just next level lazy. And I hope that I don't have to elaborate on that fact, because if I do, I swear to God, you guys are fucking dense. Like, Jesus Christ. So then we meet up with Amy, and I just need to fucking say this right here, right now. The shit with Amy, it just fucking pisses me off to no end. Alright? I absolutely hate it. Why? Because it is melodramatic as fuck. And it's not even like the rest of the game is like that either. No. I mean, sure, the shit with Tails is a little weird, I guess. And, you know, the shit with Knuckles. I mean, yeah, Knuckles actually, he's actually the best character in this game. But, like, I'm just gonna fucking say it. I absolutely despise what they did with Amy in this game. You know, it's just like a melodramatic mess, and you'll see why later on. So then next you fight this boss, right? And all you gotta do is just cycloop around his legs, climb up his arms, and you punch the little spikes on his head a little bit. Honestly, like, this boss, like, I didn't really have that good of a time fighting it because, you know, it's kind of boring in my opinion. So, yeah. Like, people are like, what? It's boring? I didn't think it was boring. Like, and I'm all like, dude, it's my opinion. Just shut the fuck up. Like, that's the thing with these people. Like, they don't seem to understand what the fuck an opinion is. So, yeah. And then we enter a very shittily made cyberspace level, right? This one, like, it's very reminiscent of Forces. I'm not so sure if this is from that game or not. I mean, aesthetically, obviously it's not. But, like, you know, in terms of design, maybe it might be. But, like, seriously, though. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's a shitty fucking 2D level, and like, honestly, like, this game's kind of ass anyway. For just like, what is it with 3D Sonic games and trying to shoehorn in 2D segments? It's supposed to be a 3D game. Like, why shoehorn this fucking 2D bullshit in here for no reason? Like, I don't fucking know, man. So then we see Dr. Eggman again, and be happy that you're seeing him here, because this is 2 out of 3 cutscenes that you see him in this game. Why have him introduce the plot if he's barely even in this game to begin with? That doesn't even make any sense. So then we collect our first Chaos Emerald, and then... Wow, this is more like anime than I thought. Not only you have giant fucking monsters, but you also have weird and uncomfortable moments with little girls. Seriously, guys, what the fuck is this character design, and why is she in this game? I know, guys, you're gonna make those jokes about me because of the accusations that were made against me in the past, but I don't fucking care. I'm just gonna say it straight up. The fact that she's in this game, it makes me uncomfortable, and it makes no sense. Why isn't she a hedgehog? The fact that this game resembles Sonic 06, and the fact that she's in here, like, I don't even want to think about it. This is a Sonic game, and we all know what Sonic fans do every time there's a new character. Like, god damn. Okay, so then Sonic gets his ass beat, right? And you know what? This is extremely cathartic. Hearing all those fucking power scaling analysis videos saying that Sonic is more powerful than the Lord Jesus Christ himself really pissed me off. And you know what? I'm just glad that this fucking hedgehog is getting the comeuppance he deserves. So, good on you, game. But aside from that, you'd expect this person to kidnap Sonic because she kidnapped the rest of his friends, right? Nope. Why not? Infinite logic. That's right. No, not infinite logic. Infinite logic. If you've played Sonic Forces, you'd understand. But anyways, so yeah. Before we get back to the review, let's look at the worst Frontiers takes. Honestly, the way that this is written, it almost makes me want to read it like this.
I love building bricks with Minecraft. Building bricks with Minecraft is the best thing and the most amount of fun you can have while playing an app. I understand why all the kids are playing this game these days. It's because they like to build brown bricks with Minecraft. I also like to build brown bricks with Minecraft. It's the most fun you can possibly have.
Seriously, can we get an L nerd in the chat? You see, it's what? This has gone too far. Let me just make myself 100% clear. Alright? So, as we all know, opinions are subjective, right? But, you know, when it comes down to it, Sonic fans, they don't think that. They think that their opinions, they're factual, right? And if we validate them enough, you know, what's inevitably gonna happen is that they're gonna start thinking that their word is true. This is why I'm as hard on them as I am. So maybe, just maybe, if we all band together and we all go against these people, then maybe we could knock them down a peg or two. Because this is ridiculous. I've played both Sonic Frontiers and God of War Ragnarok, and I can confidently say that God of War Ragnarok is the superior game. I mean, Jesus Christ. The lengths that these people have to go to say the most ridiculous shit is just mind-boggling. Back to the review. So now we have to do our very first fetch quest. And what is our very first fetch quest? Well, it's just all this bullshit. Yeah, this is the first puzzle or fetch quest or whatever the fuck you want to call it that isn't really fun, but more so frustrating. Now, I know what you guys are going to be saying. Well, what makes a puzzle fun and thought-provoking, and what makes a puzzle frustrating? Well, it's more so balance of difficulty. You see, if something is too hard, then it's frustrating. But if something is too easy, then it's boring. This, you know, is too much of the difficult side, so yeah. And now, here's the thing. A lot of people, they complained about forces being too easy, so, you know, Sega, what they did is that they made puzzles like this. And there's more of these, and they get worse. So, yeah. Oh boy, this is not gonna be good, is it? Then we collect a Chaos Emerald, and Sonic does a Fortnite dance. No, seriously, if I put the music over it, that's what it looks like. Just listen. Okay, so this next scene, right? I'd give it the benefit of the doubt, right? That is until this happens, which I don't really find to be emotional in any way, shape, or form because it's reminiscent of the waffle falling down meme. No! No! Or the cat in the wheelchair falling on a plate. Or the scene in Back at the Barnyard where everyone falls over for no reason. What I'm trying to say here is, how can you Sonic fans joke around about Chris Thorndyke's death in Sonic Omens, yet take this shit seriously? Also, what Amy says here, like, this is just nothing but melodrama. Ian Flynn is a bad writer. Just admit it already, guys. Come on. So now the game demands me to talk to Amy again, which means I gotta collect more hearts. Seriously, this game is so artificially lengthened. Most of this game isn't even story anyways. It's just fetch quests and puzzles and missions and shittily made cyberspace levels. It's a mess, guys. Just admit it. This game, it's not good. It's subpar, alright? Just admit it, okay? Please? Come on. Anyway, so, yeah, we have another cutscene. And, god damn it, it's with her again. And this is gonna be something stupid. I know it.
You are an enemy combatant.
And sure enough, it is.
What is wrong with you?
Because,
Sonic would never endanger
yeah,
anyone.
just listen to what she says.
Help
Look.
this Coco reunite with their one true love. Love. An emotional status too vague and varied in its definition.
Wow. Literally a Rick and Morty quote. No, I fucking can't. This is just dumb. But to be fair, you need a really high IQ to understand Sonic Frontiers.
Listen, Morty, I hate to break it to you, but what people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, Morty, then it slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage. I did it. Your parents are gonna do it. Break the cycle, Morty. Rise above. Focus on science.
What is it with hack writers and thinking that being nihilistic immediately means that, yeah, we're good at our job? Like, come on, man. You can do better than this. Actually, no. Ian Flynn can't do better than this. For Christ's sake, Sega, hire someone else. Actually, you know what? You already have people who can do better. Haven't you guys made the Yakuza games? Get those guys to make these games! For Christ's sakes! Or better yet, why don't you get Hideo Kojima to write at least one game, or like be like a director or something? I mean, I've heard people say that, oh no, you can't get Hideo Kojima to direct a Sonic game. He's too exposition heavy, but there have been Sonic games that have exposition in them that still ended up being good, like Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Adventure 1 had plenty of exposition in them, but those games ended up being good. Oh wait, but now there's meta-era fanboys who apparently are against the adventure games that think that exposition is bad for whatever reason. But like, here's the thing, like, it's not inherently a bad thing if done right. And like, I think Hideo Kojima does it pretty well from time to time. And another thing people are gonna say is that, oh, well, he's gonna make it a walking simulator. No, he is not. I've actually played Hideo Kojima's games, and that is not what he does. If you've actually played Metal Gear Solid or any of his other games, you can tell that no, like, saying that he makes walking simulators is very disingenuous, and you clearly don't play any of his games if you believe that. I don't even know where that narrative has even come from, like, seriously. But aside from this point, yeah, so here we are. We're gonna go into the fucking worst, well, not the worst, this is the second worst puzzle in the game. You know, previously I said that this was the worst, but later on I found one that's actually worse than this one. So what makes this puzzle so bad? Well, it's annoying because, you know, you gotta collect the weeds and, like, you know, but you gotta do it in a specific pattern, and that's kind of weird, I guess. And then you gotta avoid the wasps, and if wasps weren't already annoying in real life, well, they're annoying in this game as well, because if you run into them, then, well, you lose a life, and lives only exists in certain puzzles. They don't exist in the actual game, which is kind of weird and hypocritical, but whatever. But yeah, and you can't even get rid of the wasps, so it's kind of like a reverse Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation. So yeah, if you've played, you know, or heard of that game, then yeah, the AVGN reviewed it. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, like, Jesus Christ, this puzzle is absolute dog shit, because it's like really unfair, and like, there are ways to make difficult puzzles work if you balance the difficulty, but this game doesn't know how to do that. The puzzles are either very easy and boring or very hard and unfair, and this is one of the ones that are like really hard and unfair. And like, here's the thing, you have to be able to balance difficulty in order to make your game work. Apparently, no, this doesn't do that. And this is way too early in the game to have a puzzle like this. So like, why? And you need to do this in order to progress in the story. Jesus Christ. So then we get another shitty cutscene, and so you know how I said earlier that Eggman barely gets any screen time? Well, this is the last cutscene that we ever see of Eggman. So, yeah, after this he never appears ever again. So, yep, that's it. That's over. Yep, no more Eggman. Wow. For someone to, you know, start up the story like that, it's almost like if he didn't need to be here at all. You see, why is it that, you know, it has to be, oh, Eggman starts off fucking everything up and Sonic has to stop him when he doesn't appear in the story at all? That doesn't make any sense. He only appears in 3 cutscenes. Like, Jesus Christ. Then we get to the worst cutscene in the entire game. Well, second worst, but, you know, the worst is yet to come. But, like, it's, like, okay, look, they argue like if they're a married couple in the verge of a divorce, and, like, honestly, this is severely out of character for both of them, and it's really hard to watch. Like, honestly, when I was looking at this cutscene, honestly, I was cringing so fucking hard that, like, I don't even know. I don't even know. I cannot state enough how fucking bad this cutscene is. It is almost like something on the level of something straight out of Last of Us Part 2. I'm dead serious. It is that bad. Then we make it to this cutscene, and okay, I cannot state enough how melodramatic these cutscenes are, and it is so unnecessary. And I know what you guys are gonna say. Oh, well, in the adventure era, they did the same thing. No, they did not. Okay, let me just say this. For the record, in the adventure era, they had a nice balance between lighthearted moments and moments that were like a little dark, right? Here, it's just dark, 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 like for no reason, right? And like it just feels so unnecessary. And then when you get to like the next level, the sand level, it's just a complete contrast for no reason. And I'm just here going on like, the fuck is this shit? Like, seriously. Like, there's no reason for the game to be like this at all. Literally, like, no reason. So fucking dumb. Thing I would like to talk about is another boss, the squid. Why is it called a squid? It looks more like a dragon to me, but it's nitpicking. Anyway, so basically what you do is you run across its tail, or tentacle, because it's a squid, but whatever. And you're supposed to make it to its head and hit it, and yeah, that's it. Very simplistic, but hey, it is what it is. Do I have a problem with it? No, not really. Well, except for that, because, well, only when it's like you can't really see when it's coming toward you. When you can see it, yeah, but like that's my only flaw. Also, I like when you hit it and like it makes like a little table for when you have to fight it. You know, like the mechanics are cool for this boss in particular, but like, yeah. Now, here's the thing. This isn't like my favorite boss, but like it's a cool boss regardless. So yeah, we'll get to my favorite boss later. Is it nice that I have positive things to say about this game? Yeah, it is. Is it still a good game? No. But, oh well. It is what it is, I guess. Holy shit! It's the man behind the slaughter!
It's been so long since I last have seen a soul lost to this monster, to the man behind the slaughter.
Purple guy!
But in all seriousness though, Big the Cat's Fishing is back, and while yes, it's a lot easier than the one in Sonic Adventure,
Of course you are.
at the same time, it's piss easy. Granted, yes, in Sonic Adventure it was frustratingly difficult. At the same time, this one is the opposite extreme. And even then, if this was like, you know, pay to win and you get paid back like a casino machine, right? Yeah, I could definitely see Sega doing something like this if they were scummy like Konami. So, you know, this definitely seems like something like that. But, hey, it is what it is. Like, this even looks structured like a casino type thing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if Sega did make casino machines, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, now we got another melodramatic cutscene, trying to copy shit from Breath of the Wild, being all like, oh, isn't Amy so sad because she can't pick up flowers anymore? Oh, that's so depressing. Oh no. upset if you couldn't do that anymore?
I believe in our power.
I mean, yeah, I
Share
would,
that love with the world.
but like at the same time,
It may take us
like this seems more like melodrama than anything. Like really, I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's subjective, but like,
all about it when you come back.
you know, like you do you if you find this sad, you know. So anyway, so now we get to the part of the game where you know,
What's up,
you
baby?
get a little bit starved for a challenge, and you know, you get to like a little bit of a balance in terms of challenge for a puzzle, and you start thinking, hey, you know, maybe this is actually kind of good, when in reality it's not.
worth a shot.
Yes, I replayed this game, and
Looks like there's
this
a
puzzle
pattern on the
ain't
ground.
shit. Yeah, I changed my mind. I don't really like this puzzle all too much no more. It's kind of crappy. And you'll see why in a few minutes. Just take a look and see how lame this is. Basically what you do is you turn things around. And that's it. Like, that's literally all you do. Riveting, I know. And this relates to Sonic how? No, I'm serious. Like, what does this have to do with running around at the speed of sound, having places to go, and following your way home? Nothing. It has nothing to do with that. Like, what the hell? This is cringe. This is absolute fucking cringe. I can't. No, this is stupid. This sucks. You know, no. But you know what? At least what comes next is worth it. Just take a look. So basically what you do is you do a little bit of platforming, right? Or, you know, after the waterfall, you know. Yeah, you do a little bit of platforming through the waterfall, and a little cutscene plays. Just wait for the little waterfall, you know, yeah. As I said, you know, a little bit of platforming, alright? If I could just, there we go, yeah. And, you know, okay, this is drawn out. I know they're trying to do shit. Okay, here we go. So then we get a cutscene, alright? And, yeah, this is worth it. This is worth all of the trouble that we went through. And you'll see why, alright? So you fly for a little bit, alright? Even though Sonic can't fly, but whatever. Well, at least not in this regular form, but you'll see what I mean. So then he runs, alright? And, yeah, you fight the Titan that you saw earlier. His name is Giganto. Yeah, it says so right there. And what you do is that, you know, you jump down. And, okay. Yeah. It tells you to climb him. So yeah, obviously you have to collect some rings. So I just want to build this up just like how the game did. But you know, since I'm an idiot, I climb him up first. I didn't even know originally that what was gonna happen. But like, yeah. Let me just make myself 100% clear. This is like the best part of the game, the highlight. And this is 3 hours in. Nothing else this good happens throughout the rest of the game. I am dead serious. 11 hours in, and it never gets this good ever again. So, yeah, you turn super. Now, you do turn super again, right? But the second time you turn super and you fight another boss like this, it's not as good, and I'll explain why later. But this time, oh my god, this is extravagant. I love this boss fight. Alright? Now the first time I spoke about this, I did say that this was like the best boss fight in a Sonic game. I think I was a bit over-exaggerating when I said that. There are possibly ones that are better, in my opinion. Actually, looking back, I think, yeah, there definitely are. Personally, I prefer the Bio-Lizard from Sonic Adventure 2. That one's probably like way better. You know, yeah, definitely better. But this one is a whole lot of fun. And it's so weird how this is like 3 hours into the game. Because, you know, most people, they wouldn't be so patient to wait this long. Which is sad, because this is definitely the highlight of the game. And what's even more sad is that it never gets this good ever again. Hell, even the second Supersonic fight, like, it's not as good as this one. Like, despite it having similar music to this and trying to be just as hype, like, no, like, this one is, you know, the peak of the game, and it's like so early, yet it feels so late, if you catch my drift, you know? It's just a really weird feeling, you know? But yeah. Now, the question remains, does this make the game good? Does it make it any better? No. This is one good moment in a sea of really crappy moments. And now let me elaborate what I mean by that. Okay. So much of the game is complete crap, right? Especially, you know, before this boss fight. Most normal people, not Sonic fans. Sonic fans just eat up anything, right? They cope, they seethe, right? But they consume product, right? But like, you know, normal people. Let's talk normal people, right? With those people, right? They wouldn't make it this far. They'd refund the product when they find out, oh, I'm 2 hours in. This sucks. You know what I mean? Like, this boss fight, like, oh my god. Like, it's 3 hours in. This should have been earlier. Honestly, like, if you want to hear me out, I think this should have been at the very beginning of the game. Some people are gonna be all like, oh no, that's bad for pacing. But like, I really don't think so. Now, here's the thing. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance managed to have a boss similar to this at the very beginning of the game as well, and managed to have really good pacing as well. Like most people, yeah, like, well, no, I wouldn't say people have problems with the game. People have problems with the memes. I personally didn't until, you know, the Frontier status ruined the status memes for me, but whatever, doesn't matter. Whatever the case may be, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance doesn't really have a problem with pacing, in my opinion, right? And the Metal Gear Ray boss fight at the beginning of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, right? It didn't ruin the pacing, it wasn't bad, it wasn't this. And I think if they had this boss fight, like, you know, immediately at the very beginning, it wouldn't have been a problem for me. People would tell me, oh, well, they wanted you to build up to the boss fight and all this stuff. Well, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, if they wanted to do that, maybe they could have, like, designed the game more better, like, you know, like a sort of Sonic Utopia type thing with, like, you know, sort of like beach-like aesthetic with, like, a jungle type theme. And instead of piano music, they could do, like, a sort of smooth jazz combined with 50s rock, or not even just that, or like when you fight enemies, it could like turn into like, you know, a sort of like, you know, punk rock, and like the more you raise up your style meter, because like, yes, I want a style meter in a Sonic game, obviously, they could you know, progress into more of like a heavy metal type thing, right? You know, for the music. And then what they could do is that then they could have this be 3 hours in if they want to do something like this. I think they should have I think if they want to do a 3 hour thing, they should overhaul this game completely. You know, I just don't think the game is good the way it is. I'm just gonna say I don't think Frontiers is good the way it is. And I'm serious. And from what I said earlier, I'm gonna stick to it. So yeah, I think it should have been momentum based, and you know, from all my criticisms I said before, it should have had all that, and yeah. Like, this boss fight is just the highlight of the entire game, and it's only 3 hours in. Like, what the hell? Whatever, it doesn't... Well, it matters, but, like, you know... Try and make the rest of the game this good next time. Or maybe every time, for that matter, you know? Alright, so now we just unlocked another level, and that level, well, it's the desert level, and it's loading. I don't know why this game takes so goddamn long to load, but you know, we're flying as Supersonic, alright, and there it is, yay. Now here's the thing, I would love to play the rest of the game as Supersonic, because Supersonic, oh my god, it was so much fun to play as in that boss fight, but I guess not. To be fair, yeah, the game would be too easy to play as if, you know, I was Supersonic the entire time, which is fair. Hell, Sonic even says it in this cutscene.
I didn't want this to be easy anyway.
So, yeah. So at least the game developers are somewhat self-aware when they say that, so yeah, fair enough. Anyways, so... Well, actually, no, they're not self-aware, because the first island was piss easy. So why did they even have Sonic say that in that cutscene? It's like they're mocking me. What the fuck? So, yeah. Anyway, so now we gotta go see Knuckles. Alright. So, yeah. I'm just gonna say this right now. Story-wise...
Never mind.
This level is a lot better than the previous one, but while there may be some inconsistencies caused because of this level, at the same time, what I am going to say is that, you know, this level, you know, Knuckles, he isn't that bad in terms of, like, you know, melodrama like how Amy is and how Tails is going to be later on. But when it comes to everything else in terms of like you know, gameplay, we'll talk more about that later, but still, like, this game is like, I don't even know where to begin. Alright. Let's just fast forward a little bit more, shall we? Okay, this cutscene is kind of awkward because look at his face. Like, he looks like he's about ready to fucking kiss that motherfucker. And, like, I'm all like, what the fuck, man? Like, come on, dude. But that's not what ends up happening, thank God. But I'm sure some retard on Twitter probably drew some bullshit about that or some shit.
What's going on?
And this right here, look, tries punching him and does nothing, right? Later on, we see a big inconsistency regarding
I was
Well,
investigating some
you'll
strange
see.
ruins where I was
It
trained
gets
twice.
really
Then got trapped.
convoluted.
Never a
And now it's time for more Bad Frontiers takes. You know what? I am actually gonna fucking break something. Let's rename this segment to One Bad Frontiers Take. Because honestly, I cannot handle more than one of these. This is just so idiotic to the point where, you know what? No, I can't. You know, let's move on. Back to the review. Back to the fucking review. So next, we fight this thing. It's a shark, and all you do is that you homing attack on its tail when it jumps out of the sand, right? And then what you do is that while you hold on to its tail, you press the buttons according to what it says. Yes, this is basically quick time events, the boss fight. Moving on. There's nothing much else to talk about. This boss fight sucks. This boss fight sucks. This boss fight sucks. Next, we're being chased around by this thing. I skipped the cutscene because I don't give a shit. And basically, right, in my last video, I compared this thing to Unleashed because, oh, it's somewhat challenging. But, like, here's the thing, right? When you are starved for challenge because, you know, you've been playing a shitty game for as long as you've been, right? Eventually, what ends up happening is that you confuse, you know, something like this for something as actually good as Unleashed. Then what ends up happening is that, you know, you confuse something shit for something good because you're hungry. Like, okay, think about it like this. Imagine, like, you haven't eaten for about, like, a week or a month, right? And then what ends up happening is that someone offers you beans with toast, right? Normally, you wouldn't eat beans with toast because it's fucking disgusting, right? But, you know, since you're hungry and you haven't eaten for a year, right? You take the beans with toast, you eat it, and you love it because you haven't eaten for a decade. So, yeah. And you're probably dead and in hell, but whatever. You're eating beans with toast. You're in hell. Whatever, you know. Okay, so here's where the inconsistencies come into play, right? So, you know, Sonic's running and, you know, he's just there, right? And then, you know, they just speak for a little bit, right? And look, watch this. Okay, here's my question. Why the fuck was that able to happen? No, seriously. That should have phased through him and they should both be dead. I'm serious. Because here's the thing. Right? He's a ghost. Like, here's the thing. The whole concept of a ghost is that anything, and I mean no matter what, should phase right through them, right? So, like, this overcomplicates the story to the nth degree, right? So, that means, you know, these characters who are ghosts can, you know, technically help and do things besides just stand around and talk. So, wouldn't that mean that you'd be able to have other playable characters other than just Sonic? Oh, but no. You see, because 06 was a failure, we only need one playable character. Okay, yeah, sure, why not? You gotta blame everything on a game that came out like so fucking long ago. Okay, that was 2006. We're in 2022 right now. Like, seriously. Just move on from the past, take your losses, learn from your mistakes, stop being so afraid, and just do something new, okay? Stop being so safe and take risks. And maybe, just maybe, if you learn from your mistakes, then maybe what will potentially happen is that you'll make a better product than something that's just subpar. Like, I'm serious. Like, jeez. Okay, now, this mission is confusing to the nth degree. Why is that? Well, the marker is telling me to go over here to this cannon, right? But here's the thing. What I'm supposed to actually do is I'm supposed to go to the rocket, use the side loop, and carry it over here to the cannon, right? So I could launch it over to the drain pipe, so I could, lower the water level so I could be able to move on to the next level, right? But since the marker is telling me to go to the cannon, I assume that I'm supposed to go to the cannon first. But that's not doing anything. So I'm just sitting here confused and acting like an idiot. So, yeah. Like, this is just bad game design, alright? This isn't just me not being good at the game. This is just the developers not knowing how to guide the players into the right direction. Maybe there may have been some players who played this and knew exactly where to go immediately. But, there are plenty of others, like me, for example, who didn't know immediately straight off the hand. So, yeah. And it's because a lot of people rely on this pointer thing to guide them in the right direction. Because, guess what? Throughout the entirety of the first level, this thing was pointing them to the places where they needed to go. And now it's telling them, haha, you go here, you're in the wrong direction, you dumb fuck. Like, what the hell type of bullshit is this? Like, come on, man. And as if that wasn't frustrating enough, when I got the rocket into the cannon, right? When I shot it at whatever this thing is, right? Into the direction it was supposed to go, the first time, okay, I didn't get it right, or, it's supposed to hit the target, alright? And then, the second time, this happens. Just take a look. So then I actually hit the target and then nothing happens. So then I just assume that I'm not hitting the right spot, which is dumb because, I am, even though nothing's happening. So like, what the hell? Like, so then it gets me to think, am I supposed to shoot the chain? Am I supposed to shoot at the wall? Am I supposed to shoot at the water? What am I supposed to shoot at? Am I supposed to break the dam, keeping the water afloat? And then I realized later on that I have to do it again because, when I shot it originally, the time ran out. So, just because the time runs out when I shoot it correctly, that technically means I shoot it wrong? That's the most ass-backwards logic there is to shooting something correctly and it, saying that it's wrong. Do these people know how to code correctly? I know that's a mean way of saying things, but like, I'm sorry, this is just so frustrating. Like, seriously. So then I have to fight against this thing called a tank, even though it looks more like a crab or a spider than a tank, but oh well. And this has got to be the most gimmicky boss fight in the entire game because you fight it while you're in the air floating, and honestly, this is like, I hate this boss fight. Like, as you can tell, I'm getting hit a lot, but like, it's just because of how frustrating this is. Like, seriously, I'm completely out of control when playing this boss fight. It's madness. And you know what you know what else this is?
This is Sparta!
And guess what? We have another shitty fucking cyberspace level, and this is a level from Forces that they're copy and pasting, and this is going to be very hypocritical from what's coming up later on in the story, and you're going to see why later on in Chapter 4. Moving on. Shit. So now the next boss is this thing. It's like a sumo, and yeah, basically what you do is that you homing attack into it, I think, or what you do is that you do the cycloop, then you homing attack into it, and then that, and yeah, this is something I guess I don't know. It's something that I could very give a shit little about. So dumb. Alright, let's talk about this boss. So, yeah. In the original video, I said that this boss was kind of frustrating, and yeah, it is. The first time around. Second time around, it's just kind of boring. Enough said. Alright, next. So now we're at another shitty cyberspace level, and yeah, same as usual. You see, okay, no, this is starting to become a pattern for me that even now I'm starting to notice. I'm starting to grow apathy towards this franchise. Yeah, not even just the game itself, but the whole franchise. And that is not good. It is very, very bad. So, listen. Sega, if you are watching this, which I know for a fact you are not, I just want to say this, alright? Please do better, alright? I'm sure that at this point you saw all my criticisms, and, you know, I just want to say, please, please, for the love of God, listen to them, please. Alright, enough said. Let's just keep going. So now we're at the obligatory slot machine section of the game, which is just another distraction from just everything. So, you know, yeah, I guess. Just gives you more purple coins, which honestly, what do the purple coins even do? What are they even used for anyway? Like, what the hell? Remember when I said that eventually we would make it to like the worst puzzle in the game, or like the worst fetch quest, or whatever I said? Honestly though, I think Video Game Donkey summarized this segment the best that he possibly could. Better than I ever could. But I'm gonna try and summarize this segment as the best that I possibly could. Okay, let me just say this right here. So these things pressing down, right, the little spiky things, right? Yeah, okay, it's a good start for a challenge, fine, you know, I like the idea. But like every time I collect one of these little rock guys, right, like it makes you go faster, right? Which is weird because, you know, when you carry like a boulder over your shoulder, that rhymes, wouldn't that like make it like heavier and like harder for you to go faster? But I digress, you know, it's not supposed to be realistic, but whatever. But like, here's the thing, like at the end of the day, the whole making you go faster thing, when it doesn't even just make you go faster, it just makes the obstacles go faster too. Like, this is frustrating. Like words cannot describe how frustrating this mission is, right? And the visuals, I think, are doing a better job at like showcasing how horrible this mission is. Like, I've been complaining about how, oh, it's so, everything in this game is so easy and boring, and how, you know, like all that stuff. This is the opposite extreme. Listen, as I've been saying this entire review, there needs to be balance in the difficulty. You can't just have one extreme over the other. You need to have balance. You need to have it be equally as difficult and equally as easy. Otherwise, the players aren't going to have a good time, like how I'm not having a good time right now. Like, look at this. Like, how can anyone say that they're having fun with this? Well, I mean, I guess it's possible since people like this. Like, what? Like, oh my god. Like, just because this is Sonic doesn't mean you have to like it, guys. Like, I think it's more healthy and beneficial for the franchise to give it constructive criticism. Otherwise, what will end up happening is that we'll have more stuff like this in the future. And I don't want that. I don't want more frustrating and difficult puzzles like this in the future. It's not fun. You know, I think I would much rather prefer the stuff that we used to get in the past that was fun. You know what I mean? I had a lot of fun with the old games. This, what you're seeing on screen right now, this is a shell of what the former self was. Like, shit, dude. Like, I get that this is one puzzle in like an 11-hour game, but oh my god. Like, you know how long it took me to beat this, right? An hour. An hour! Like, it shouldn't take an hour to beat one puzzle. God damn. Okay, so as you can tell, my main problem with this game is that it has way too much unnecessary melodrama, right? However, if there's one thing I could say about this game that I think is good, is this one level, this one desert level with Knuckles, right? And that, you know, it doesn't have too much of that. Sure, this one cutscene does have a little bit of it, but I wouldn't really call it that. Honestly, the reason why I wouldn't call this cutscene melodrama in particular is because it's really small in comparison to everything else this one level has in comparison to the rest of the game, especially in comparison to the previous level. I mean, look at Knuckles right here. Like, his reaction, it lightens the mood. This is more mature than anything. You know what I mean? So, yeah. This, in comparison to everything else, isn't the worst in the world. So, yeah. Honestly, I think Knuckles might be my favorite character out of all the Sonic characters. So, yeah. Good job, game. You made me like Knuckles. So then what ends up happening now is that they do some nostalgia pandering to Sonic 3 and Knuckles because these desert lands reminds Knuckles of Angel Island from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Even though this looks more like the Angel Island from the Adventure series, but oh well, I guess, but oh well, I guess Sega really hates Adventure for whatever reason. I don't know why. But yeah, so now we gotta fight these oh god, not these things again. Fuck, I hate these designs. And they look so much weirder up close too. Like, what the hell? You know what, I'm just gonna spare you guys the details and not even show you anything, so yeah. So then we have another dog shit cyberspace level. I mean, do I even really need to point these things out? I mean, all we know is that these exist, so like, really? Like, there's no point. Oh my god, this is so fucking dumb. Okay, guys, I swear, I'm not trying to pad out the video. These literally happen like 2 in a row, but whatever. Like, I actually have something to say about this cyberspace level in particular. Alright, are you ready for this? Okay, this cyberspace level is a complete carbon copy of the classic level in Generation, the classic Sky Sanctuary. So, yeah. Don't believe me? Just keep looking. You'll see it. Yeah. Or at least I think it is. Maybe there's like some segments that are, I don't know, if you squint your eyes, you'll see it. Maybe I'm thinking of a different cyberspace level. No, actually, you know what? That's a good point. These levels blend in so fucking close to each other to the point where like, oh wait, no, never mind. Yep, this is it. This is the one. Yeah. How could I forget that? Okay, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah, this level sucks. Moving on. So then we make it to the supersonic fight of this level. And remember how I said that the previous one was the highlight of the game? This one isn't. You see, the last one was really good because it gave you the freedom to do whatever you want. This one doesn't. So, yeah, this was kind of shitty in comparison to the last one. So, oh well, I guess. Yeah, you know what? Moving on. This is underwhelming as shit. So then you save Tails with very little idle animation, shockingly enough. And yeah, I'm just gonna skip straight to the point because, you know, we've all been building up to this point, so let's just rip the band-aid right off. But before we do that, I just want to comment on why the hell are there 2D sections in my 3D open world Sonic game? Like, isn't that kind of stupid, dumb, and redundant? I'm just saying. So yes, as you can tell from this cutscene, this is going to be the worst island so far. Because, oh my god. Look at this. This is some melodramatic bullshit. Like, oh my god, this is worse than the shit with Amy. And you want to know what else? It gets worse. So just watch this. Watch this. Okay, so we know the common criticism, show don't tell, right?
What do you mean?
Okay,
like a tire?
so
or the
Tails,
tornado's
he
engine oil?
says that, oh, Sonic, ever since the last game, I've been kind of weak. And then, you know, he's all like, oh, can I change? And then Sonic gives him a little bit of a pep talk, and he's all like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be better, right? So he says that, and you want to know what? Throughout this entire level, he does absolutely jack shit. Now, you may be saying, oh, but Rocky, he gives exposition. No. Bull fucking shit, okay? Giving exposition is not enough. He should be able to be like a playable character or help or like do some other stuff like physical shit like how he did in the adventure games. I don't want to hear the excuse that because he's a ghost he can't do that shit. In the last level, we saw Knuckles do exactly that. He literally fought, okay? Tails can do the exact same thing and he is very much so capable of that. So saying that he can't just because he's a ghost, that is bull fucking shit. You know what? I am done here. Like, how many minutes do we have left? One? We have one more minute until we reach 2 hours. Come on, 2 more hours. Come on. We got, oh, come on. Look, we got 2D section. Okay, listen, 2D sections. Oh, they're bad. I hate 2D sections. Oh, we got like 30. Come on. Like 2D sections. Oh, they're the worst. Okay. Oh my god, we got one more part left after this, like what, part 5, I think? Come on. 40, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, yes! 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And, okay, that's it for the video, everybody. I'll see you next time in part 5. Okay, bye!